I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed it, Pressure Points. With your two favorite hosts, I'm D, and this is Skinny Boy AJ. We're coming at you with Season 7, Episode 26, Oceans 4. I'm talking about the earliest fucking train robbery in history. Strap in, get ready, let's get to it. Find us on Instagram and Patreon, pointsofpressure.com.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
Spoilers. I didn't know it was about a train.
That's fine.
I love trains.
That's fine. Yeah, I know.
I like trains. I like train magazines. I like watching trains. I like hearing trains.
Sets, model trains.
Train sets, model trains, painting model trains. In my basement while my wife leaves me.
Yeah, right. How you been?
You know, can't complain too bad. Work's been
Better
much
this
better.
week?
Much better this week. It
Good.
was a cruise. Even though I almost got decked last night, it was a quick
Close.
dodge.
Yeah, nice.
Quick
Getting
dodge.
faster.
Getting faster.
More agile.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no, it's been good, and then just, you know, playing some video games.
Nice. What are you playing?
Ran some shoreline runs today. Took over resort
On single player Tarkov still?
MPT multiplayer Tarkov.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is funny that you mod Tarkov to get single player, and then you add multiplayer functionality back to it.
Because it's better.
And it's so much better. Except I did get like head throated, which is a great phrase.
Shot down through the top of your head.
Yeah, no, it was a bitch and a half, but it was really good. Good runs today, like
Good. Oh yeah.
crazy ass runs today.
Glad to hear. Not bad.
Yeah. Other than that, sleeping in the day, not sleeping at night.
Mint. 10 out of 10.
Never quite sure what day it is.
Yeah. It's Sunday for us. Monday for everyone else.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah. How you
Not
been?
bad. Been all right. Yeah. Pretty standard week. Nothing too crazy or exciting. Still playing a bunch of Cyberpunk and
Nice.
taking it easy.
Clocking in, clocking out to the dick sucking factory.
Yeah. Started reading manga.
Oh, we got
getting
some
ultra
weeb
weeb.
shit.
Yeah, you know it.
Which one?
Berserk.
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 Yeah, Berserk. It's
I've heard of that. I don't know
It's
why I've
fucking
heard of that, actually.
crazy.
I think
It's-
Meat Canyon
it's-
said something about it once or
probably,
something.
Yeah.
He's where I get all my weeb
It's
news
good.
from.
It's a good one so far. I'm like 5 chapters in out of like 400, so.
Nice. So, yeah, you'll be done by next weekend.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's been good. I never got into like reading comic books other than like Calvin and Hobbes and shit.
Classic, though.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
But never got into like serious comics or anything. So this is my first time and I've got to do it backwards because of how you have to read them. You go like top right, down, top left, down.
Oh, like Yiddish.
Yeah, it's
Like
fucking
Hebrew.
goofy. And
You're
it like,
reading Hebrew.
I'll read.
Why are you reading a Hebrew manga?
They're better. Yeah, it fucks with my head. Like I'll finish reading and I'm like, oh Jesus, I feel like I'm cross-eyed.
Oh,
It's
weird.
good.
Yeah.
It's good for my
I bet
brain.
that would be weird.
Yeah. It's kind of goofy. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Awesome.
If you guys want websites on where to find some good stuff, let me know.
I just keep
Reach
smashing
out.
my teeth with my water
I
bottle,
saw that.
trying to
Jesus,
get a
fucking-
drink, and then you keep making me laugh.
Hey, maybe you should have gotten a smaller Stanley cup, you fucking sellout.
It's not a Stanley. It's a hydro jug.
It's
They're
a
local.
wannabe.
No, they're local. They're
Not-
based in Ogden. So
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll do that. Fuck Stanley.
Fucking
Kubrick.
big mug ass nurse piece of shit.
Hey, I'm a nurse. Hey, through and through.
Yeah, we'll hop straight into this one. So, like I said, we're talking about a train robbery, baby.
We're running a
It's a
train
good
robbery.
one. So it's the mid 1850s. It's like 1853, 1854.
Good year.
Yeah, great year.
Civil War.
Yeah,
Almost.
Too bad we're not
quite.
in America at all.
Oh.
So, Gambling.
History doesn't exist outside of this country. Are you kidding me?
So gambling addict William Pierce gets fired. He works for Southeastern Railway, and he is not happy about it. Well, he doesn't work for Southeastern Railway anymore.
Not anymore.
He's looking for revenge. Hell hath no fury, like an ex-employee.
Like an ex-employee gambler who in search of his next fix.
So despite being fired, he still bums around the local bars at the London Bridge station, drinking, playing poker with old coworkers, employees, and everything. And Pierce is kind of known for his street smarts. He's known for dressing really well.
Finding out where to roll dice in alleyways.
Yeah, right. But referred to as imperfectly educated. So, he's got his street smarts, but he doesn't know books. Probably doesn't know how to read so well. He doesn't know how to read good. So one night, he's having a few rounds of drinks, playing a few hands of poker, rolling some fucking dice at the craps table. And his ears perk up to the sound of someone saying the word gold and delivery. And he's like, ooh, ain't nobody says stuff around here unless they're talking about it going through London Bridge, which is big. London Bridge is huge. It's like the place to ship stuff out.
Down.
Yeah. So he picks up his drink, slides his way over to the bar, sits down, just keeps it casual, but he's locked in. He's eavesdropping so fucking hard right now. He's like, this is the thing. This is how I fuck over the Southeastern Railway. Fuck them. So he picks up that it's a gold huge order going from one of the biggest orders. It's a massive order.
Go fuck yourself.
But it's going from London to Paris. So even better that you're fucking over somebody in
you're
Paris.
fucking over the French, yeah.
It's got a few stops along the way that they'll be weighing the safes that it's in at each stop.
Yeah, to make sure nobody's stolen any.
Yeah, comparing to make sure that it matches what was logged at the last stop. And he hears the gold is always, he didn't know this doing his position. He never worked directly like on the trains or anything. It was pretty much like a clerk from what I read. But apparently they always do the gold deliveries on the last trip of the day at 8:30 p.m. because they're likely to have fewer residents coming onto the train, catching a ride home or whatever.
Yeah, well, and
usually a bit of a slower.
Most of the thieves are usually like going home to their families at that time.
Yeah.
They're clocking out.
People are honest after 8:30. There's also always a guard on duty in the same car as the gold safes.
Okay.
So he gets home and the gears are turning. Reaches into his back pocket, pulls out his little black book with all of his names he's thumbing through, and starts putting his team together. So his team, 40-year-old Edward Agar, who's known for thievery and forgery in all of Britain.
He's got a reputation.
Yeah, a bit of a career criminal, and he's also known as one of the best safe crackers in London. Like, people are like, if you need something cracked into, and it's like, dude just fucking gets it. He just gets safes.
That's his brand.
Yeah, it's his thing. He's been cracking safes, skipping charges since he was 18. So he's got like a 22-year, not necessarily record because he's not getting caught every time, but like 22 years of experience stealing shit from the rich.
That's a good amount of experience. I like it.
And he's kind of known as the genius behind the operation. He just like sits down and he's like, okay, cool, yeah, like this is how we're gonna do all this shit. Boom, 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 boom. he has been looking for a big score within the last year since he and his girlfriend Fanny K had their first baby.
Classic Fanny.
So he's looking to make a big score, maybe get out of the game a little bit.
Well, this is one final job.
Yeah, exactly.
You're out.
So you got Edward Agar, and then you got William Tester. He's a London Bridge traffic assistant superintendent. Dude wears a fucking monocle.
Hell yeah.
He's the meme of like numbers bouncing around.
He's
his head all the time.
Monopoly Man
He is
with the numbers.
So fucking smart, and he just understands all of the logistics with railways. Dude has been looked over like multiple times, and within the last couple weeks on promotions. So he's a little bit bitter. He's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck them. I don't need to be the superintendent if I've got a pretty hefty amount of gold in my back pocket. He's got so much know-how. He has all the connections in the company. Would there really be a huge target on somebody that's everybody's like favorite little genius? You never know. Finally, we have James Burgess. 13 years of experience working as a guard for the Southeastern Railway Company. Last few years, he's been the like main gold guard that they've been putting in place because of his experience. So like, hey, this guy gets it. He does his job right. We haven't had any problems. James is our number one go-to. He's a bit of a penny pincher, and he's got a wife at home, but he's kind of just that standard, like, under-the-radar guy. He looks like everybody else.
Yeah. He's
like someone that nobody suspects because you couldn't pick him out in a crowd because he's just the most boring piece of shit in the crowd, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. This is our team. This is the Ocean's 4. This is everybody in the crew.
He gets the crew together.
Yeah, the first step that they've got to do is they need to get their hands on keys for the safe. So the way that the safes work is it has two keys. One that is kept on, or actually I'll get to that, but it has two keys, so you have to, like, it's that double verification kind of thing.
Yeah. Like we do with the nukes.
Yeah, surprising they do it in the 1850s. You'd think that they'd overlook that at the time, but it works, I guess. So when Agar finds out that they need to get the keys first, he looks into everything and he's like, okay, like, I'm going to be honest, I don't think getting these keys is really going to be a possible task. Like, this is going to be impossible. And Agar is like, hey, I'm going to step away from this job. I don't think we're going to be able to get our hands on the keys.
Isn't he a safe cracker?
He is, but not with these ones. He's more like because these are strictly like key things. He's like, well, I can't really crack into it, but we'll get to what he's going to be good at
all right.
later on. But yeah, he's like, if we've got to have the two keys, I don't know so much if this is going to work out for us.
Yeah.
And so he pulls back, and then Pierce reaches out and gets William Tester on the job, and then reaches out to Agar again, and he's like, hey, I've got somebody that's like got an inside scoop. He's an assistant superintendent. The dude knows the fucking Southeastern Railway Company. Like, he just fucking gets it. And Agar's like, okay, we can make that work then. So Agar's back on board.
Boom, he's back.
And in May 1954, Pierce, sorry, not
1854?
1854. Sorry.
Okay.
Habit. I wrote down 1954. 1854, Pierce and Agar take a trip to one of the stops where they're going to weigh the Folkestone station. And they're not going to steal anything. They just kind of want to show up at the station, watch the whole process of everything, see like how people get onto the train, how people are purchasing tickets, watch the guards, and if they have like a guard switch, see what happens when they decide to weigh. So like they're just sitting back, hanging out at the station taking a look. And unintentionally, they're just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go in. We'll look like standard people. We won't stick out like a sore thumb. But in trying to get intel on the job and get an idea of how they're gonna do everything, they end up looking extremely fucking suspicious.
Yeah, I bet.
The police and the like railway cops that they have, railway security, show up and they're like, hey, you two are clearly looking into things that we know you shouldn't be looking into. Get the fuck out of town. Like, we're escorting you out of Folkestone. Fuck off. And Pierce,
they were probably like, does anybody know where the gold car is?
yeah. Oh, what's in those safes, young man? And it's like,
Do you
bad idea.
ever like go to the bathroom and leave the safe unattended for any reason?
How much does that safe and everything inside weigh, perchance?
Do you happen to know if they're ounces or troy ounces?
So they're like, get out of town or we'll make you get out of town. And Pierce gets spooked. Pierce is like, okay, sorry, I'll fuck off. I'm out of here. Goes back home, and Agar is like, nah, I don't really give a fuck. So Agar's like, yeah, we'll leave. But he ends up going to a hotel bar just down the street where a lot of the employees at Folkestone tend to go drink. So he's having a few drinks at the bar, listening in, and he finds a couple employees that he recognized that were, like that guy looked like he was a guard. Oh, this guy looks like this guy was a clerk. So he just walks up, makes casual conversation, and he ends up getting enough information to find out who and where to get the 2 keys that they need.
Jeez,
which is
that's
fucking impressive.
That's quick.
Like even just sitting with someone drinking, like, that blows my mind that in one night you can be like, oh, who has the keys to those safes? Like I can't even imagine pressing someone about information like that.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. But I mean, the
skills.
dude knows what he's doing. So one is being held by the superintendent.
That could have been their friend.
I know. It could have been. The other is somewhere in Folkestone Station. But they don't know exactly where. So he goes back to Pierce, tells him everything, and Pierce is like, dude, what the, this is fucking phenomenal. I can't even imagine you get that information out of him. How are we going to get these keys? And Agar goes, I have no fucking idea at the moment. So they kind of start putting a plan together, like, hey, maybe we can get Tester involved, maybe, like, and they're kind of getting a bit of a cohesive plan, and then Tester shows up 2 months later as they're putting things together, and he's like, hey, I just found out that one of the guys, like the superintendent that holds one of the keys at Folkestone, lost the fucking key.
Oh, shit.
So, the railway company is like, well, how the fuck are we going to check anything? We need to get these keys replaced immediately, and we can't, like, it's lost. We can't just say, oh, like, get us another copy of that same key. No, they have to do, like, a full safe replacement. Like, they have to replace the locks. They have to replace the keys. Everything. And who steps in but Tester? He reaches out to the company. He's like, hey, I heard about this. I'll handle it. Don't worry about it. And
I'll rekey your safe or something, right?
he's basically like, I'll act as like the concierge between the Southeastern Railway Company and the locksmith company, like the safe company.
Okay.
He's like, I'll get the safe sent out there. I'll make sure that we get the keys and everything. He's kind of just doing like his due diligence while also being like, hey, I'm going above and beyond for my job, because they all know he wants a fucking promotion. So they're like, you know what, Tester, go for it. Like, we've been taking advantage of you for years. This is great. Somebody else handles it.
Perfect. So he just steps in and says, oh,
so
no.
he steps in.
This is my project. Okay.
Takes a few months to get everything fully replaced, and he gets his hands on the keys. The moment that he gets them at his desk, he's like, cool, tonight I'll deliver these keys to Folkestone. Don't you guys worry about it. And they're like, okay, cool, sounds good. Takes the keys, heads straight to a bar with Agar and Pierce there. Sits down. They have like a little wax mold.
Perfect.
They stamp the keys into, mold them, give him the keys back, and he's nervous as shit. Tester's like, he's a smart dude, but like, everything's on the line for him. So he's like panicky. They're molding the keys and everything, and he's like, come on, like, just stamp them. I need to get the fuck out of here. And they're like, okay, dude, like, chill the fuck out. And he grabs the keys, heads out, goes to Folkestone to drop everything off. A couple days go by, and they're getting the keys poured and molded, and Agar notices that the two keys that they have are identical. They're the same fucking key. So they're like, hey, Tester, what the fuck is up with this? And Tester's like, dude, I must have grabbed like the two keys that are supposed to be for the soup, and then the two keys that are supposed to go one here, one at Folkestone. Like, I must have grabbed two identical keys. I fucked up. The one that we need is at Folkestone Station somewhere. It's not on the soup. I fucked it up. And they're like, bro, what are you doing?
Had one job.
What are you doing?
He had all the keys.
Yeah. And because he was so fucking nervous, he grabbed the duplicates instead. Fucking goober. So, he's like, dude, I'm so fucking sorry. I've blown this. And Agar is like he sits back and he's like, I think I know what we're going to have to do. He's like, we don't know where the key is. It's going to be tough for us to find out where a fucking key is for a gold safe.
Yeah.
So he goes, I'm going to order $200 worth of gold under the name E.E. Archer. And he's going to have it shipped to Folkestone Station.
Okay.
So, puts his order in. I mean, that's a fucking ton of money.
Oh, yeah. The fact that he had that money was crazy.
It's probably close to like 10 grand that he puts down just to get these like gold bars. 10 grand of today's money. And he shows up when he finds out that it's delivered, shows up to collect his box of gold, $18.54, $200. And shows up, he's under this guise of a different name and everything, and when the soup there pulls out his keys, like, okay, cool, that's the one that's on the soup. And then the superintendent walks in the same office, walks over to a cabinet, opens it up, and there's the key. Bright and shiny. Right there. Picks it up, walks over, unlocks the safe, gives Archer his gold, and Agar walks out with his gold, and he's like, I know exactly where that fucking key is now. It's not in a locked cabinet. It's in a fucking
not even
cabinet
locked?
in, like, the office, which, yeah, it's tough because the office probably has someone working in it most of the time unless they're closed, and if it's closed, it's going to be locked up. Like, the office will be locked up.
Yeah, but they use single pane windows. Come on.
Yeah, this is easy shit. So...
Yeah, about $7,500.
Oh, okay, I was close.
Yeah.
He passes all this information over to Pierce, and Pierce decides in the next couple of days, I'm gonna keep an eye on this office. So goes out there to Folkestone, watches the office, and he finds out that when there's so Folkestone Railway is also at a pier. So when a ship comes in with an order, the guys that are working in the office leave, but they don't lock the door.
Oh, that's
so they
that's
just
convenient.
they're like, oh, I just got to go down and have them sign this shit, and I'll come back up. And so Pierce is like, okay, all I have to do is wait for another like boat order to come in. They're both going to walk out. They're not going to lock the door. And that's exactly what happens. He walks up, opens the door, goes to the fucking cabinet he's told to, and right there is the key. Bing.
Perfect. Does he wax
Picks it
cast
up,
it?
pow, pow, fucking molds it, dips the fuck out. Like
Perfect.
nothing even happened. Didn't even have to
Dang.
fucking break in. He just
He just
walked in
walked
and
in.
walked out.
That's crazy.
So impressive. And the keys and locks at the time are a little bit rough. So they're, because of how they do your wax casting and everything, it makes it so that it's not like the cleanest cut. You can file it down all you want. You can get it as close to the other key as possible, but you don't have the other key.
Yeah, it's not perfect. You could file down the wrong spot.
Yeah, so what they have to do, or what's recommended and what happens in a lot of these cases, and this is why it took them almost 4 or 5 months to have these keys made. The company had the keys made. It takes so long because you pretty much have to like test it in the lock over and over and over and over and over so that the lock finishes molding the key to what works. So it's hard to have like your first time unlocking the safe to be like cluck, like especially if it's a wax molded key. It's not going to go so well. So over the course of 2 months, Pierce and Agar buy tickets for train rides when James is on duty so that they can sneak into the guard station and just use their key. Boom, 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 boom.
Jeez.
They do this 8 times in 2 months. And these are trips that go from like 8:30 p.m. until like 2 a.m. And they'll like pop in there, test, and then
Test file.
yeah, sneak back in to their like cabin until the train starts going and they get a signal from James and they go back in and keep testing it so that on the night of the actual heist, it's not like they break the fucking key in the lock. They finally get like everything working with the keys. And during this same time, they're going over to a local like gun supply company, more or less, and they end up both buying about 50 kilograms of lead shot.
Nice.
They're going to do the old Indiana Jones
switcheroo.
And they're trying to match the exact amount of gold that they're going to steal so that it slips under the weigh-ins until the safe is like popped open.
So they can't figure out where
until everything's
where it
cracked
happened.
open in Paris, and they're like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Oi,
Now I have lead poisoning.
Paravoo.
Welcome. And a couple weeks away from the job, Tester ends up getting his hands on the schedule, changes it so that James is the guard for their gold heist.
Classic.
And everything is looking like it's perfect and according to plan. Now, the gold, the way that it's set up is they keep it in wooden boxes that are wrapped in iron bars that have iron bands weaved through the bars.
Jesus.
And then on like, imagine like 2 iron crates sitting like basically like wrapped around a chest. So you have that like band that sits around the edge. There's a wax seal that they put on the iron bars
Christ.
so that if that's broken, it's so clear that this has been tampered with.
Yeah.
And you can't get through these iron bars without damaging the wood below. And so you're in kind of a precarious position, but they do that intentionally so that it's so clear whether it's been tampered with.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of fucking things to slip through. And this is also, they have that stamp on there so that, like, if somebody replaces it with, like, the right weight per gold, it's not, like, bullshit gold-painted iron bars. You know what I mean? Like, they've taken pretty much every precaution to be like, hey, nobody can fuck with this in the, like, almost, I think, like, 12-hour, not even 12-hour trip, like, train ride. So, the night of the shipment, James takes the 100 kilograms of lead shot in, like, 1850s travel bags into his guard area, which sounds silly, but if you're a really high-profile person hopping on this train and you've got expensive luggage and things like expensive things in your bag, you would give it to a guard to keep in his little cart until you get off the train. It makes perfect sense. It's just funny. He's got like 100 fucking kilo, which is like 220 pounds.
No, I imagine, I don't know, somebody hopped off the train and was like, here, let me help you with your bags. Throws out their back immediately.
Dislocates their wrist.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, God.
Shoulder is
like,
shot
it's my bowling
forever.
ball. It's my bowling ball collection. Don't worry about it. I'm going to war.
Yeah.
I need these bullets.
It's like, it's my bowling ball collection, but it's the size of one bowling ball bag. And they're like, what do you collect one bowling ball? Because how
They're
heavy
nesting.
lead is?
They're nesting bowling balls.
They've got to grow.
It's cold.
So, yeah, James has all the lead in these, like, super fancy fucking luggage. And the signal that he gives, if he knows that there's gold, because Pierce and Agar are waiting at one of the stations. And he knows what station they're going to be at. So if he has gold on the train, and if the plan is going through, he steps out of his little guard thing, takes out his white handkerchief, wipes his head, and that's the signal.
I imagine
for them
it's
to
as
go,
dramatic
okay,
as you just mimed out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Whips
totally
up his hand,
dramatic.
like, dabs
so
off his
obvious.
forehead. Oh, my goodness.
Ah, I got the vapors.
The vapors are getting to me. My name's James Burgess, and it's a humid one today. And so he gives the signal. Pierce and Agar are like, okay, that's our go-to. Pierce gets on the standard cabin.
He can't afford a good ticket.
Yeah.
That's why he needs the gold.
Yeah, right. He gambled away all his money. So he's standard cabin, looking like a regular customer, regular rider. Agar, however, sneaks, and his whole thing is he gets into the guard cabin as fast as possible. So he just hops straight in with James.
He just walks down the hall.
And he hides behind James.
A bunch of heavy suitcases.
No, way fucking better. James has his, like, working overalls and jackets hung up. Mm. And so Agar hides behind all these fucking, like, hanging clothes so that when anybody walks in for those, like, first checks, Agar is virtually invisible.
And he's just
standing behind, like, overalls and jackets and hanging clothes and
it's
shit.
like the... It's like the dude standing naked in the corner with a lampshade over his head.
He's basically like standing in the curtain, like playing hide and seek. They can see his shoes. So Agar hides in this fucking, like, in the overalls and everything. And as soon as the train takes off, James gives him the old and Agar hops out, goes to the safe, pops it open with his keys. Now, he doesn't have time to get all of the gold in the trip from, what is it? I think the London Bridge station to Red Hill is the first station they go to. He's only going to have time to pop open one of these safes, or pop open one of these crates and everything, and get all of the gold out and switched. He has a scale in his bag as well.
Perfect.
So he sits down and gets to work. He has to pry the fucking rivets out of the iron bars so that he can remove the top. It breaks the wax seal, which he kind of planned for that. So gets the iron pried apart, And, I mean, this is a fucking process. This isn't quick at all.
This is work.
Finally gets everything popped open and opens up the wooden crate, and he's got his scale sitting there. He takes out 1 gold bar, puts it down, weighs it, and then gets a bag and pours in that much lead shot so that he's, like, verifying every single
one
bar so that it's not just like, oh, yeah, we're close. They want to be as precise as possible. So it's a process. He's going, bar, lead shot into the bag, or into the fucking crate. Bar, lead shot, over and over and over. Ends up clearing out the first box. Puts the iron bars back on, gets the rivets back in, and he has, it said that he had like a little die, but more or less like a cast wooden die. So he heats up the wax again, and he has it as close as possible to what the wax seal is.
Nice.
He's like, it's not exact, but he's like, when they do like the official check at Folkestone, it's going to be dark. It's going to be like pretty much 10 o'clock.
Well,
they're not going to have fucking flashlights and they're looking at them like 1 to 1. They're going to glance at it and go, yeah, like that doesn't look broken. Yeah. So he's like, this will be a problem when they find it in Paris, but like it's not a perfect recreation, just enough to make it passing.
It's like, how many times at work do you see the exact same information that you just cruise by?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like, you get that fatigue if they're checking seals every day,
and
multiple
what's funny
times.
Is when he was opening the safes, it falls under that exact same thing. He realizes that the soup key that he has to twist it open, it wasn't even locked, because it's so standard for them to just be like, yeah, whatever, like we'll just use the
wasn't
one lock.
Even locked.
And so he twists, and this one, like the left side goes quick as shit, and then he's got to actually push the pins with his other key.
Just wasn't even locked.
And
that's great.
Employees admitted to that after the fact. They were like, yeah, it's pretty normal for us to only lock one of those.
That's really funny.
So he gets half of what they expected out, or I guess the first case fully cleared out of gold. Puts it into a bunch of, like, basically replaces it fully with the lead shot, and slides that over to the side. James takes note which luggage is not the lead shot and which one is the gold. Agar hides back in the overalls, and they get to their first stop at Red Hill Station. So James, at the stop, welcomes in the guards to come do their way in, and takes the gold luggage, walks it outside, sets it down on the ground, and
at the station.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus, whatever.
Yeah.
And Tester walks up, grabs the 2 bags, and gets on another train headed immediately back to London Station.
Nice.
The idea is that he gets to London Station, he swings by, says hello to his fucking coworkers. Hey, yeah, I'm just here doing some extra work tonight. And they're like...
Gets an alibi.
Yeah, he gets his alibi, and they're like, yeah, Tester was here all night. Like,
Genius.
the guy that handled the keys, that handled all that, he's been working all night. When would he have found any time to go to France and come back and steal all this gold? Bullshit. So, he gets his alibi. He's like, I'm in the clear, but I imagine he's so fucking nervous while he's
probably
doing
sweaty.
It. He's walking with these, and he's just shaking like crazy. And oh god, I haven't been scrolling. Let's see. So the train, like the way the safes, everything looks good. The guys that weigh hop off the train, and away they go. And as soon as the train starts back up, Pierce is like, okay, this next one, we've got to move fast as fuck, because we need to be out of here, like out of the station before anything. Like, we're off at the Folkestone stop.
Yeah.
So Pierce goes while the train is moving to the guard cart, and he and Agar work side by side, popping open this other safe, getting all of the rivets off. They're going as quickly as they can. The only problem is, in this safe, it weighs, as they're taking out the gold, they find out there's more gold in this safe than they have lead shot. And they're like, do we take all of the gold and risk them maybe seeing this at Folkestone? Or do we leave some of it here and just kind of cut our losses and avoid getting caught right here? And they all kind of look at one another and they're like, I think our best bet is to leave the gold.
Good. That's the right choice.
We take the exact amount, maybe like a bar or two extra where it's like they'll weigh it and be like, oh, yeah, like something must be a little off if it's a pound or two off, whatever. And they're like, all right, cool. Fill up these bags, throw everything in, and then they get to the stop. And, just before they get to the stop, they sweep up all of this mess because, like, there are wood shavings everywhere.
There's lead
melted
everywhere.
wax. There's fucking lead shots. So, like, after they've emptied all of these fucking gold bars, they're, like, cleaning up. They're like, we got to make this place look pristine, like nobody's fucked with anything. And they get it cleaned up just in time. Pierce and Agar hide behind these overalls and these jackets, waiting in there, and the guys that weigh, they look at it and they hear them say like, oh yeah, like it looks like it's a little off, but maybe like they were touching the scale at the last stop.
Yeah,
no biggie.
They didn't zero it.
Yeah,
you know.
They didn't do it right. Oh well, it's close enough. These two guys head out and they grab the luggage and get the fuck out of there as fast as possible. And James goes, cool, I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. So they hop across the station, catch a train headed back to London around 2 a.m. They have over 12,000 British pounds of gold. It's 224 pounds worth of gold, which is equal, which, mind you, that was that 4-pound difference. They had 220 pounds of lead shot, and they have 224 pounds of gold. So there's a 4-pound difference there. But it's equal to the 12,000 GBP, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, in 1850. It converts to $4.5 million worth of gold today.
Hell yeah.
That is a fuckload
That's
of gold
a
that
shit
they have.
ton.
And as they're waiting for the train to London to pull up, Agar throws his key and tools into the sea.
Perfect.
Gone forever. And when they get back, they check into a hotel, take it easy for the night, and they get to work the next morning.
Yeah.
So, upon arrival in Paris, it's found that the gold actually weighs 40 pounds lighter than it had in London. They completely fucked up their weighing system. They totally fucking bunked it. My guess is that they were just like, oh yeah, like we'll be fine. We'll take a couple more. And they didn't account for how much it was actually going to weigh different.
Jeez.
Spillage with the fucking lead shot and everything, not nearly as close as they thought that they would be.
But at that point, they would have gotten caught anyway.
Yeah.
So
the company can't place where the discrepancy happened.
But the fact that they weighed in at every station and they were 40 pounds off is crazy.
It's insane.
That's a big chunk.
Yeah. It's clear that there was a little bit of oversight on all these, that these guys are just going through the motions. Some, in my guess, probably weren't really weighing. They're just doing, okay, this is what these guys said, just mark it off. So at the final stop, they can't figure out where the discrepancy is. So and they haven't popped these open yet. They're just seeing that there's a weight discrepancy. And they're like, did we fuck this up at the end, or did they fuck up the total at the start? So the buyer and the seller are both like, we're not wrong. Like, I weighed my shit correctly. They pop these things open and there's lead shot. And then the buyer and the seller go from, I didn't weigh it improperly, to, hey, it's not my fucking fault that you guys can't keep everything covered. Like, you guys got robbed, and The gold people are like, hey, we put it in there. We're not liable for this. And so it turns into this whole debacle. James is immediately under suspicion because he's the guard on duty for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they go, well, it's not going to be James. He's worked for us for 14 years. We trust the guy. And he's like, yeah, I didn't steal it. And they're like, okay, James, like, we trust you. Don't worry about it.
Damn.
You're a loyal employee.
Simpler time.
Tester, they look into him because he handled the keys. And that's the only way someone, like, it's not like these safes are blown open. They look at Tester, and his alibi is squeaky clean. No one suspects a thing. Tester sneaks through. So, London police, French police put out a note, and they say, hey, we'll give $300 to anybody that gives us any information on this. $300 at the time, which is more. That's
like $12K.
Yeah, this is more than the $200 that Agar spent on fucking gold. This is a lot of cash. And Agar and Pierce are like, nobody's going to turn us in because the four of us, the two that we're worried about, had fucking alibis, and they're not even suspected, so we're fine. So they start melting down the gold like fucking crazy. They actually
turn it into bullets.
Yeah, they turn it into they're making it into smaller bars, but at the like forge where they're doing it, they end up spilling it and causing a fire.
No.
Nobody suspects a thing. They manage to get it all cleaned up and everything, but they're like, God, we really fucking screwed this one up. But again, they managed to like just get by. So Pierce ends up claiming that he made all of this money because they end up selling off the gold and everything to fences. He says, yeah, I made all this money on a good gamble. I had a great night of gambling. I made a fuck ton of money.
Classic cover.
With his $1 million that he's making off with now. He opens up a betting shop, and he starts laundering in money through horse race odds.
Genius.
James and Tester both end up investing their shares into different countries' companies because it's not fucking well regulated in 1850.
Yeah, no, that was a classic move.
Yeah.
And you can make a lot of money doing that.
So they invest into other companies. They're like, cool, it's like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Agar ends up leaving his girlfriend and kid to date a hooker.
Nice.
He loans her pimp a couple $100, like hey, look, I'll give you this money. I'll take her for
I'm saving her.
I'll take her. I'll come back and like you'll still owe it to me, man. I'll come back and pick it up, and we'll figure things out then. And the pimp is like, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. A few months go by. Agar comes back to pick up on his loan on the hooker that he is now dating. And when he's given the bag of coins, as soon as it hits his hands, cops show up.
Ooh.
And he's like, what the fuck? I'm just here picking up money that was owed to me. And they're like, no. This money is directly tied to a check fraud investigation that we're doing. So you're being held accountable for you're involved in this fucking check fraud scandal and shit.
Using the money to pass fraudulent checks?
Yeah. So the pimp fucked him over. This guy that had nothing to do with any of it.
That's great.
Pimp gets Agar caught, and Agar is like, okay, I'm fine. It's all good. I'm not going to say a word. I'll be out I'll be out in like a year or two, whatever.
Yeah, if that. I mean, he just loaned the guy money. He could probably
it's whatever.
Just get out.
And so he reaches out to Pierce, and he says, hey, man, I need you to take my share of the money. I need you to get it as far, if they look into any of my financials, I'm fucked. So I need you to take my share of the money and just give it to Fanny K and my kid. They'll hold on to it for now.
Oh, so they'll take me back.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They have $1 million in their pockets. They'll take me back. It'll be fine. And he's like, so get it off of my back, give it to them. They'll be all right. They'll know what to do with it. We'll be good. And Pierce goes, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So Pierce doesn't take it to Fanny K, doesn't take it to the kid, pockets it, and more or less just keeps going on about his day because he's like, whatever, like, fuck Agar. Like, he shows up, I'll give it to him then, but I don't give a shit. Fanny K finds out that Agar is in jail, reaches out to him. She's like, hey, what the fuck happened? And he's like, it's all good. Don't worry about it. I have my money sent to you. And she's like, what money?
Ooh.
And Agar goes, the money from the fucking heist. Pierce is going to bring it over to you. And she goes, Pierce didn't bring me shit. And so she goes home and immediately calls the cops. She's like, hey,
Nice.
I'd like to claim that $300 bounty
300
for some info on that heist from like a few months ago. The cops are like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she gives them all of the information. She tells them fucking everything. They go to Agar in prison, and Agar's like, I'll fully cooperate with you guys. These are the exact names of everybody that was involved. Completely blows the lid off of everything. It worked out so fucking perfectly. But Pierce, probably, my guess is he had already gambled away.
Yeah,
his
that's
$1
exactly
million
what I was thinking.
He saw $1 million more, and he was like, okay, I'll be able to still run my business. I can still launder it all in, and now I can gamble away another $1 million. So they completely fucking blow it. Agar works with the feds, despite the other three pleading guilty, and the jury deliberates for all of 10 minutes on the case. Comes out, the other three all found guilty. Pierce gets 2 years in a penal colony with 3 months of solitary confinement.
Dang.
James and Tester get 14 years each because they worked with the company that they fucked over. And yeah, they go away for fucking time. And Agar is fucking like in the court case, the judge is pretty much like, I'm gonna be honest, this Agar dude, looking at your rap sheet, not a good guy. You're a piece of shit. But you were honest when we needed it most, so you're good.
Classic.
Get the fuck out of here.
And then Agar went to America.
Yeah.
Changed his name and started working with the FBI in the 80s.
Jesus. 130 years later.
Yeah.
So it's known as the first gold train heist. And it was the biggest amount for the longest time. Fucking crazy.
Yeah. And they would have gotten away with it
if it wasn't for those
damn
hookers.
For gambling addiction.
For them damn pimps.
Yeah, those damn pimps passing fraudulent checks.
What a dick.
Who would do that on borrowed money? Do that with your own money, guy.
Piece of shit. So,
that's great.
I love those heist episodes.
I love
They're
it.
so much fun.
I love it because if they didn't fail or fuck up or something,
know.
we wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
So I just love okay, but how'd they get caught too?
What happened? That's
What
my favorite.
happened?
It's who fucked it up?
This was perfect, literally the perfect plan.
Where's the poop?
Yeah. Where is the poop?
If you guys would like an ad-free version of the show, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/points-o-pressure. If you would like an extra episode per month, we give you an exclusive on Patreon. We also have a bunch of sloppy seconds, 30 plus on there. AJ has a series called Voices. One came out recently. Check those out. We would greatly appreciate it. You got them names.
Yep, I got the board, Minnie D, Thomas, and Toddle Waddle. They are looking for their fourth for some kind of
they won't tell us what
job. I guess I don't know,
something or another.
But they don't want us. They say that we squeal too much.
Yeah, they say we talk too much.
Yeah, you talk too
You're
much.
too noisy.
But for some reason, they collected DNA samples from both of us.
Yeah, don't know why.
Hair, fluids.
Hey, they're the board.
Skin.
We don't ask questions.
Yeah, exactly. And then we've got Abby, AJ's third nut, Nordic Thunder, Weston, Dark Runner, D's Nuts, G-Dog, Grover, Hayden, Laura Revo, and Lindo. Thank you all so much. Thanks for being here, letting us keep doing this show.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys. Would not be here without you.
Not
the
at all.
mics wouldn't sound as good as they do without you. You guys have helped us grow in so many ways under this table, boners. You know the drill. And as always, if you guys ever have recommendations for music, TV shows, movies, you have a show idea that you want to pass along to us, you find an article that has to do with one of our previous episodes, by all means, reach out to us on Instagram at PointsOPressure. Feel free to email us at ppdnaj@gmail.com. Those are just the letters. Or go to our website, pointsopressure.com. Or check out our fucking subreddit, Pressure Points, and we'll catch you guys next Monday.